right on time.
Whoa!
Oh, I forgot to name the stream and stuff because I'm
no.
big old loser.
What's the name? What do we call ourselves? What is this?
Go away!
Don't look. Don't look at us. Hold on. You're failing miserably. What's happening?
Creator Studio.
This is great.
Ignore us.
Ignore the man behind the curtain. I'm the man behind the curtain. Ignore me. Come on. Faster. Do it.
Oh, wait a minute.
I don't know. Change one word. And we're good!
Never mind, we were alright. Yay.
And we're still the Super Whiskey Brothers.
Aw.
Aw.
I want to be somebody else.
Sean, you are now Bob. I christened thee thusly.
From henceforth, you shall no longer be known as chicken. You shall now be known as fish.
Well, now I'm Catholic. What do you know? Okay, let's hang.
Hey, guys, you seen this before? This drink, but my wife had the idea because of the origins of the name of the drink.
Which is?
The origins or the name?
The name.
Miruvor.
Oh, there you go. You can't always tell what it is.
To add...
Can we see that?
Turn up that light. Mica powder to the drink. Get it out of the direct sunlight.
We're doing really good at this. You can see, though.
Yeah. Can I give it a swirl? There we go. I'll just twist this ice spear around and
That
still...
was exactly what I thought would happen.
There we go.
Well, now we have Miruvor all over our tobacco. So
It's okay because there we go. Now we're good.
Oh, okay. So this time we didn't have a weird video of us mixing the drink because we figured that was really
atrocious.
That was rough.
That was bad.
Having that go over top of the stream, that's rough.
Yeah, we can admit when we're stupid.
And we're usually stupid. So, I'm going to find... You're clicking so many buttons. What's happening?
I'm just clicking clicks.
Okay. So we're going to stuff these pipes because this week, since we're having a cocktail made out of the Suntory whiskey, we're having pipes with it. Because we only have to have cigars when we're trying the whiskey neat for the first time.
Which is, it's high time that you guys are introduced to our strange, arbitrary, make no sense rules.
Yeah. And I think we're making them up as we're talking about the rules. So essentially, whenever we try a new whiskey, which is the first week with that whiskey, it looks delicious, we will drink the whiskey neat, and we will have cigars.
I thought I had some over here. Can you grab me a pipe cleaner?
I can grab you a ton. They're right here.
Yeah.
During those weeks, these are very sharp.
Yes.
We will have, again, the neat whiskey, we will have a cigar, and then 2, 3, however many we decide, more weeks after that, we're going to do different things with that same whiskey because we're not made of money, and we're just going to keep using the same whiskey until we've exhausted the options with it. We're cheap dates. And during those times, it's less important to us that we have cigars with it. We might have pipes, we might have summer sausages, who knows.
Ooh.
That actually sounds really good.
No, what sounds really good is some monkey shoulder, some summer sausage, and a cigar.
Ooh.
Don't pack it too tight.
It's still extremely, extremely light.
You know, the exact thing that the pull should feel exactly like pulling water through a straw.
That's about right. It's about like water and straws. It's almost like watering straws. So we've got, if you were on our Instagram, you have the instructions and the ingredients for this particular drink. So we're having that with the Suntory today. I've already noticed I took a sip. We'll take another
the
one.
Added mica powder. And a little goes a long way. You can see that I have too much in mine, and I used the butt of a spoon and just got the tiny bit of it and dropped it in the drink. And I mean, like, by weight, a few grains. Not a few literal grains of mica powder, but by weight, a few grains. And that was more than enough.
Twas. But it looks great. If you're a bartender, you should be taking note of this because you could make so much more tip money by making all of the drinks for those interesting ladies at the bar, making them sparkle. I'm just saying.
You say tip money or tit money?
Well, it could be both. Whatever you're saving up for. If you're saving up for a new pair of boobies, yeah, sure. Tip money. You're having a rough time over there.
Yeah.
I'll have that.
I must not have cleaned this out as well as I should have the last time I used it. There are literal buttloads of bits in it.
Bitloads of butts?
10 buttloads.
Ready for me to be that douchey guy?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and watched Endgame last night, and it's really, really good.
How's that douchey?
Because it's popular right now to go watch it, and then I watched it. And then I was talking about, like, I'm not going to spoil it, but it was so good. But genuinely, it was really good. I'm going to need that back. Because I'm garbage at lighting pipes.
If you're really good, don't touch the flame at all to the tobacco. Just let the heat light it.
Well, I'm not really good, so screw you.
Screw it.
Screw what?
I couldn't work it out of my mouth, so I just swallowed it.
Delicious. All right. So now we're just pitter-pattering about. Excuse me. I'm trying to get my pipe lit. That's why this is so boring. I apologize to everyone who's actually listening and not watching.
But
But
anyone who is listening, hi, how are you doing?
how are you doing? We appreciate
You
you.
guys are my friends. I hope.
No,
Please be my friends.
everyone hates us. So, I'm having a hard time getting this lit, but we're just going to continue and trudge on anyways. So let's talk about this drink. Now, we didn't really do much about describing it when we made the post. We just kind of gave the ingredients because title gore is a thing.
Okay. So it's based on a soft drink that my wife had me make. And that was a tiny bit of vanilla and actually stevia extract and seltzer.
Okay.
And then she had a little bit of the Suntory in a glass. Well, in a Glencairn, not a full glass. I mean, I didn't pour a tumbler of Suntory. And she just dumped it in.
She's like, magic.
And it became good. And it just tasted like whiskey and cream soda. And then I had the idea of adding orange bitters because...
You love orange bitters?
Yes, and also orange cream soda.
I will say, I did not get that feel from it. I didn't immediately think of orange cream soda.
Yeah,
But I will
it doesn't
say-
taste like that, but that's what it was based on.
So-
But it's quite good.
This is what I would imagine an alcoholic vanilla Coke tastes like. It's got that... It's hard to describe the vanilla taste that's in Coke, that's in vanilla Coke specifically, but it's this.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, we don't do this for a living. What does it taste like? Well, you know the vanilla from vanilla Coke? It's like that vanilla is out of that Coke and into this glass with whiskey.
And by the way,
Buy it.
we used, for this, we used 2 bar spoons of vanilla. And on the post, we said approximately 1/8 of an ounce because my bar spoon is about 1/16 of an ounce. Because I measured it. That's how I know.
Of course you did.
Well, it's good to know. And, we... Oh, yeah, but the thing is, your mileage may vary with the vanilla you use. We used Baker's brand artificial vanilla flavor, is what we used.
You use
If-
actual vanilla extract, it might be less.
If you used vanilla extract, you may need less if you're dropping in vanilla beans instead of using liquid extract.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Oh, I'd have that.
Just know that vanilla is a very strong flavor, and so if you don't know how much to use, put in less before you put in more.
'Cause less is more. Thank you, Lion King.
Same thing with mica powder. A little goes a long way.
Well, so that's the drink. Go make it, because why not?
Okay. That's the drink. And, oh, by the way, we are using, what brand is this? Hand me that tin.
I will. Here's the lid.
Hearth and Home. White Knight by Hearth and Home.
Fantastic. I can't keep my I can't keep my pipe lit because I think I packed it way too tight. But it's absolutely phenomenal. This is one of my favorite pipe weeds I've had in a long time.
I'll let you call it pipeweed.
You're welcome.
It's my favorite. Oh, speaking of pipeweed, hand me that metal case.
The one that I just pushed back over there?
No.
What? Oh,
with the plastic lid.
No!
I didn't name this, so obviously it has to be official.
This.
This is
Long
bottom leaf.
We may or may not be a little bit nerdy.
A bit.
So. Alright. Well, I'm going to struggle to be smoking this the entire time because I failed. But let's just go ahead and get on with this crap. So
I beat the dragon.
You beat the dragon. Last week, we decided that a really cool thing to just have a conversation about would just be some video game soundtracks, and we wanted to make several episodes out of it. So last week we did real throwbacks. We didn't
from 86 to about 98.
Yeah, we didn't really want to go more old school than that because that just didn't really mean anything to us. We didn't really play games. I mean, we have played, but we didn't play those games at that time frame. So it wasn't something that was super important to us to cover. But now that we've done that, I think it'd be really great to go ahead and dive into those last couple years of the 90s and then go through the 2000s. And if we just move through it really quickly, we could dive into completely modern game soundtracks, but I think we're probably going to end up making another episode out of it because it really is its own different thing.
Yeah. Now, my game experience and other things. Why is the stream health so dang low?
I don't know. We're very unhealthy.
But let's not play this, and then that way maybe the stream health will go up some. Okay. But, I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're talking about games.
Oh, yes. My game experience from the era we're doing this, which is basically the aughts, we
would like to play.
Yeah, we are planning on doing, music evolution, like a intra series music evolution, and most of the games that I could think of to do for the 2000s would have belonged on that list, so I couldn't pick very many to look through. But I found a few, and you found at least one.
Yeah, well, I actually am part of a particular Facebook group that does nothing but just talk about video game soundtracks on vinyl, which is cool. But I asked them for some suggestions the other day, and someone threw a suggestion to me that I had completely forgotten about entirely. Parasite Eve.
Oh.
Oh, man, I forgot. And it's genuinely fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, let's...
And I've got another game from our childhood to throw in there to you. And I want you to look away while I look it up. Usually I do all the looking away, but this time it's going to have to be you.
Okay. Now, before we go to it, it's not any that I have on the list, is it?
I don't believe so. Absolutely not.
Okay. I will look this away.
Let's do Parasite Eve first. We've already got it pulled up.
Okay.
Now, Parasite Eve... It's media, right?
Chrome. Now, this says Disc 1. Is it OST Disc 1 or Game Disc 1? So is this a Dreamcast game?
This was a PlayStation game.
Oh, that works too.
But stuff from the correct era where we would have had multiple. You think of hard shift here in style. It's very reminiscent of Devil May Cry soundtracks to me. But I think it's more well done because it's actually composed instead of a bunch of really weird techno soundtracks.
Yeah.
Now, there's really no point in talking about the same kind of things we talked about last week as far as how. You're welcome. As far as like, we were talking about how the sounds were evolving and how you were able to make 8-bit sound versus 16-bit sound. And at this point, we're kind of way past that. We're officially using instruments, virtual instruments in computers through recording software, and you'll just have like a digital keyboard hooked up to a computer, and you could record this entire soundtrack and then just mix it on the computer and then master on the computer, and then you're done. And you could do absolutely everything by yourself in a room with a laptop and a pair of headphones. Obviously, in this time frame, laptops probably weren't really that powerful, but now you could do this kind of thing very easily, and this is a lot of what was happening. That was being digitally recorded. We're getting into the point now where the same technology is really being used. It's constantly being enhanced. The same thing is being made better now. There's really not a lot to talk about with it. But Parasite Eve I just wanted to play because it's really good. Now you need to turn around. This is working out great as far as bling goes.
I don't understand why this guy is always so excited about new improvements to digital instruments.
I don't either.
Because this man actually plays actual instruments.
Through a
so
computer.
soon he's going to be obsolete.
I hope so. Man, I hope so. Don't look.
Not looking.
Continue not looking. You may not get it. I want to jump to when the song's over. So we're going to start a track here.
I 100% should know this.
It's true. In your defense, I would have trouble recognizing this too.
That music right there makes me think of old school Mario cave music.
You're wrong.
I know that's what it sounds like. The doodle doodle doodle.
Doodle doodle doodle. So I'm going to try to find, this one has all the different tracks on it. We're going to do that. Okay, let's try this.
What did we
one.
play this on?
We played this on the PlayStation.
PlayStation 1?
The PlayStation 1.
Was it a 2-player game?
It was not.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. This track is called Red
Yeah.
Bombs.
I didn't look until I knew what it was.
So this is actually really, really cheesy music for the time frame, for the record.
Even though this should have been played last week.
True, because it's early in the 90s, but I had to play it.
Because 2 came out in 98, I think, or 2001, so we could have done 2 today.
Yeah. Just want to talk about that real quick. Let's go over to this other stuff. Let's go to the stuff you already have queued up. Let's go ahead and hit the X on that screen.
Okay. So, this is the one you suggested, so this is the one that you know about.
So this is really the era of so we're really in arcade game era. But like when really, really high quality video games were in arcades, right at the age of the death of the arcade, I guess you should say. And this was my favorite.
Bow, bow, wow. I could be a digital instrument.
So this is Tekken 3. Just couldn't figure it out with the third game of Tekken 3. The reason why it's cool to talk about this one is just because we talked about Street Fighter. We talked about Streets of Rage last week. And I think this is very, very similar to the original Streets of Rage soundtrack. Like just a digitally enhanced version of it. In my opinion. Like it has some of the same type of elements and everything. Except for this is not a side-scrolling beat-em-up. This is a PvP fighting game.
Yeah, and this music is closer to... It's not so much 90s hip-hop as it is like... like a cross between early 2000s alternative rock and modern EDM.
And then you're going the entire time.
Yeah.
So those, I just kind of want to play those things that I played as precursors to everything. None of them really necessarily matter, but I just kind of want to set the mood for the time frame, because this is the time frame. So the ones that are actually worth talking about, excuse me, all the games in the 2000s that were worth talking about soundtrack-wise, for me, because I'm a nerd, I don't want to talk about the ones that actually like had advancements in technology. You can actually hear the difference. You can actually feel the difference, and these games were drastically different than kind of everything else. So like mostly games that were 1 or 2 player experiences that had no online play whatsoever, which was really, this is still the era of the couch gaming with all your friends.
Which, outside of PC gaming, the era that we're in, or that we're going for right now, online gaming was relatively unheard of.
Yeah, it existed, but not really. Most things were intranet. If you wanted to play games with your friends, you brought your own TV and everything. Which is fun.
BYOT. V.
BYOT. V. Okay. So that's just worth mentioning that some of the soundtracks for those single-player, not adventure-style games, but games where it was meant for you to have an experience all by yourself or possibly with a friend, the music tended to be a lot more immersive than what we've seen with all these games coming up to like the mid-90s or the late 90s. We now have a game where people realize you're being very immersed, and they have the ability to make the music sound more immersive. So even though I'm not saying the caliber of the person making it, the person composing it is any different, but those people who are of whatever caliber now have the ability to make some just insane stuff.
Mm-hmm. Totery.
Mm-hmm. So, get out of this. You have some things pulled up already.
Yes, okay. So I was going to play Star Wars KOTOR, because that seemed like a great thing to do.
It's an amazing thing to do.
And then I turned it.
Yes.
I turned it on, and then I realized it's just, like, it just 100% sounds like, it sounds like John Williams, everything does, and just sounds like something made in a way that can be played on a loop. It all sounds that way. It's good, but is it just say, it sounds like John Williams, and then you know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, you've already guessed it.
Mm-hmm.
So you played this game a lot. Lots more than I did.
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely dabbled.
Mm-hmm. But you're usually with me while I was playing.
This is true. That was most of my experience, was watching you play this game. So Knights of the Old Republic, if you've never played this game, what are you doing with your life, first of all? Possibly one of the greatest RPGs of all time.
And it is right now in the EA Origin Vault. So if you do that thing where you pay like $25 a year, I think it is. Do that thing, then this game is included on that list, and you can play it without having to buy the game. Most of the Star Wars games are available for the $25 a year.
It's also worth mentioning, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, while being one of the greatest games that's ever been made, objectively, has a really, really normal soundtrack. Mm-hmm. It's just super, super normal. And I mean, like, that's just odd, because usually when you have a game that's just mind-blowing, it has a mind-blowing soundtrack to go with it, because that's part of the experience. But this game is just not that way for me.
Yeah. Oh. Just off the soundtracks for a second.
Hit me.
There are
hit me.
two Star Wars games.
Thank you.
That are not on that list that you do have to pay for.
Oh.
Guess what one of them is?
Sean, I have no clue.
It's Jedi Academy.
Oh.
All the other Jedi Knight games are on the list, except Jedi Academy.
Power Battles?
That wasn't a Jedi Knight game. Or a game in the Jedi Knight series.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if Power Battles is on there. I think that may have been a PlayStation exclusive.
This entire video is just me just looking through the edge of your pipe. Perfect.
But, yeah. So, I grabbed this game.
You did.
Because I remembered... Yeah, this game came out when I was 13.
Yep.
And I remember listening to the music and thinking that the music for this game was 100% badass.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming back at 27, and I said, well, 13-year-old, you're right. It's bad, and it's ass.
It's accurate. Because the best thing about this is one of the cringiest games that's ever been made.
Yeah. It was fun though.
It is fun. But yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog was such a cringy game series. Not game series, but game. Just imagine if you grew up with Sonic, like a lot of people did, and we did. And we've evolved from Sonic 1.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
I need to interpret this for you guys.
Yep.
He said, I peed on evil weasels.
Okay. Let's hear that again with that interpretation. That's definitely what he said. I completely agree with you.
Also, this is the edgiest song ever written.
This is like when you're scrolling through Facebook and it has one of those ads for those shirts that only really, really edgy mid-40s conservative guys wear.
Uh-huh.
It's like the words that are on it.
I am the storm.
Oh my goodness. I need to pause this. So Sonic the Hedgehog was this really wholesome, really very, very low violence kind of game series for years and years and years. It was so non-violent, one of the games was literally called Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and it was essentially like a Tetris / columns game with a Sonic kind of skin over it. And like, those are the golden days of the series, really, though. So then you start getting into the 2000s, and you have games like Sonic Adventures, which is a classic. I won't. That's so good. But then you have Shadow. They introduced Shadow the Hedgehog.
It was like PS2 and Xbox, wasn't it?
He's the edgy 15-year-old brother of Sonic, essentially, who like found cigarettes in his dad's drawer one time, and now he like talks about how he smokes every day. That's
like Shadow.
That's Shadow the Hedgehog, and he has a gun. Why?
Well, see, what they did was they introduced Knuckles in the early 90s, and they were like, Knuckles is really cool. Let's make Knuckles even harder. And it didn't work.
And it failed miserably.
It didn't work.
Oof.
And then they said, okay, then let's make an even more responsible version of Sonic. And they made Silver. And he was actually pretty cool.
He was kind of cool. Nothing will be cooler. The only like redeeming thing in the 2000s, or 2010s, I should say, about the entire Sonic franchise was that really weird Saturday morning Sonic cartoon show that had a giant version of Knuckles, who's just this really autistic, not arachnid.
Arachnid.
He's a giant autistic spider.
An arachnid.
No, an arachnid. Echidna. So he's like an autistic. He's a huge autistic.
He's a toasty echidna.
And he's hilarious. Easily the best character on the show. Beautiful. Imagine if Sheldon was on Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's what Knuckles was.
Okay, so my favorite Sonic cartoon was the...
Sonic Underground, I know.
No.
What?
No, it wasn't that one like where there's the weird SWAT-looking guys and... No, that show was even edgier than the Shadow the Hedgehog game.
But that was at least like Industrial Metal Sonic.
No, the one... My favorite one was the old Sonic cartoon, the 5 Mobiums is way high for a chili dog.
But Tails, that truck's only doing 80. Oh, what was that called? We need to know this right now.
I think it was just called Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, go watch it right away. Not you, someone else. Someone
okay.
Go watch it.
By the way,
Muffin.
You won't believe this, but this game has a happy song on it.
I don't believe it.
Eggman Dr. Robotnik mix.
Wow.
Yeah.
Garbage.
But it still has an edgy singer, though. Where's he at? Wherever you're... Oh, well, I'm not going to bother looking for him. But anyways.
Wow,
yeah.
that's bad. And you know what they were doing is they're like, hey, you know how Devil May Cry has this really cool, like, edgy music to go with this stylized action fighting? What if we made our stylized action fighter Echidna be worse? And sound worse, and have music that's worse? Can I help you?
I want to see something.
Something. There's something right in front of you right now.
Yeah, I want to see the original game. Okay, yeah. Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. The original game came... so I thought they were close in release. Shadow releases him as DMC 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I mean, a lot of games are really inspired by the Devil May Cry. Mm-hmm. I would say it's not like the origin of stylized action fighting. It's a stupid statement to make, but I mean...
It pretty much is, though.
It's very, very close to it.
But here's what's great, though. It's not what popularized it, because, like, Devil May Cry and Prince of Persia, like, they kind of started that.
That's true.
God of War popularized
100%. So, God of War is a soundtrack we're not going to talk about right now, because that one we're going to save for talking about, like, legacy games.
That's also why we're not talking about Devil May Cry soundtrack today.
That's true. But that's, for sure, like, God of War, Devil May Cry, which, by the way, this is a terrible one to go through that, but we'll do it.
But because of how quickly that series died, we can't talk about Prince of Persia today.
It didn't die quickly, though. You made, like, 1,000 games.
I know, but over the course of 2 years.
True.
It wasn't long. They had a lot of games, but it wasn't long-lived. And they tried to bring it back with that one game for the PS3, and then... They tried all right. Then they tried to make the game based on the movie, and then that just destroyed the series.
Yeah. Well, so, and I don't know the answer to this. So is this one of those type of projects where they said, we want to beat this game into the ground. We want 7 studios working on 7 different games. And so it's like that?
I don't know what happened. It just...
Because they pumped out games for this thing.
They made the first one, and then everyone was like, hey, that was a cool game. And then they made the second one, and they were like, wow, this game is a little bit more hardcore than that first one was. And then they made Warrior Within, and it was...
Garbage?
It was good, but... So...
2.
Yeah. Imagine, like, if the soundtrack denoted how the gameplay was,
okay,
then the first game would have been, like, Southern Gospel, while this game would have been this music.
So one of the biggest things I keep saying over and over when we're talking about soundtracks is immersion, and how well a game immerses you into it. Mm-hmm. You're playing a game about a Prince of Persia in what negative year? Or what barely positive year?
Sometime before the fall of Babylon.
What is this? So they're like, okay, we're going to make the soundtrack for Prince of Persia. Can we get Korn in here? And have them record this soundtrack?
I don't know, we spent a long time jamming out to Godsmack in the intro, the menu screen of
This is true.
Scorpion
and for
King.
the record, I wish you wouldn't have said that, because I was going to pull it up without you looking right now, because I was going to say, go to it right now, because...
I'll just look up the song.
No.
The whole soundtrack?
Specifically because the soundtrack was great.
Uh-huh.
And it was immersive. Oh man, I hope I'm not about to look like an idiot. I'm thinking of something else. Scorpion King video game was based directly off of the movie. That's still It even has a picture of The Rock on the front of it.
You play as The Rock.
Yeah, you are The Rock.
So this is track 1. Is the name of this one?
This is phenomenal. And we'll pause it real quick because I'm going to say this. I was going to say this earlier. I didn't want to start it as an observation. I want to say this to you. I want you to think of the Mask of Eternity soundtrack while you're listening to this. No, go.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking of the Mask of Eternity soundtrack listening to that last one because that Muslim guy going in the background.
Yeah.
It really made me think of the vocalist in the Dimension of Death track.
That's fair. Now, I want to say something's going to sound like a Tool. So you can tell that this was not live recorded.
You sound like a Tool.
I'm a Tool. You can hear... kind of the way the samples aren't decaying properly, and the way they're all decaying the exact same way, that this was recorded with a keyboard in front of the computer.
Yeah, right now he's pressing R a couple times.
So many times.
To get that to play.
Like the flute mostly.
Turn that off. Why is that up? Why's my Twitch dashboard on?
But yeah. This game was great, though. What year did this come out? Like, I know we're still in the right wheelhouse.
Oh, PS2, I'm guessing 2004.
No one will tell you. They cannot tell you.
Scorpion King.
Were we that young when we played this?
Well, we probably didn't buy it. New 2002. Yeah. For the GameCube and PlayStation 2.
This was the first game that introduced to me what I consider true replay value. Like genuine replay value. Not, I like that game.
Hey, look.
I will play it a second time. On September 11th. Make a wish.
Never forget.
2002.
9/11, it's the best.
It came out 1 year after the 9/11s. Thanks, Bush. But like, this is the first game because they let you replay with some stuff added on. And I'm sure this wasn't the first game to do that. But this is the first game that I played that I was like, if you play this again, you can do it with this stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, the first game we ever played that had New Game Plus. So
essentially,
look at this. There's a video here by a YouTuber called 10 Minute Gameplay. He lied. It is 10 minute 1 second.
You phony!
No one ever watched 10 Minute Gameplay. He's a liar.
Ah!
He's a liar and a louse, and his head's bigger than a bird moth.
It's true. I've seen it. All right. Hey, the budget was $60 million for that movie, by the way. Did you know that?
Wow.
It's in the Wikipedia.
Box office 165 million.
So they made money. Good for them. All right, let's get out of this.
Okay.
So, I just wanted to think about that. Scorpion King's fantastic.
Now, are you ready to play the soundtrack for our probably collective favorite game from this era?
Okay. That's a bold statement. Oh, never mind.
Also, who made this game?
I don't know.
Was it freaking Naughty Dog?
You know it must be. Good lord. For everyone not staring, well, since we don't have a screen pulled up for this, this is a game called Army of Two.
There's 3 games in the series. Or 4.
It got progressively worse as the series went on.
The second one was equally as good as the first one.
But it did not get better.
It did not get better.
The third one was hilariously bad.
Yeah, and then was there a 4th one? Because I thought there was another one that you played as Rios and Salem. But you played as those 2, like the black guy and the Mexican guy in the third one. Yeah.
Which is weird because you spend the entire first 2 games getting used to your characters and they kind of throw new ones at you, and it's odd.
And it wasn't like they introduced these characters in the second game and they were, weaning you onto them. It was, hey, look, 2 new guys. Ha ha!
But yeah, and it's like the 2 guys you play as in the first 2 games are talking to you the whole time.
Yeah, they're the mission givers.
It's so weird. But this game is essentially just an FPS.
No.
I think it's what you do FPS.
No, it's a third-person shooter.
Well, it's a 3-piece.
It's a 3-piece. A 3-piece bathing suit.
That's what this game
Where's
is.
the 3rd piece?
I hate it. So essentially, this is what you think of when you think of like Call of Duty menu music. Like, not super fast-paced, but really anxious, anxiety-inducing.
This track is called Somalia Imminent. I'm assuming it's from the first level when you're in Somalia.
Somalia was definitely going to happen at this point.
In 1996.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure 1996.
What street? And this is very good. It's very unoriginal, I will say that. It's a very unoriginal kind of sound they have going on, but it's very good. And this game was great. And people made fun of this game a lot because the dialogue mostly.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So it was like someone said, what do we think about people who must be like hired mercenaries? Like, well, they probably say terrible things. and they probably talk about terrible stuff. And they probably have really odd language. Like, it's bad, but it's odd, and no one else would talk this way. They're like, great, we'll write it.
It's like... Okay, so there are a lot of games that... There are a lot of bits of dialogue in movies, games, whatever. They basically said, hey, teach a 12-year-old to curse. And then let them... And then let this just go. That game was not this way.
This game was pretty much close to this way.
No, this game was... Take a 14 or 15-year-old that already knows how to curse.
Okay.
Let them hang out with a witty college student for a while, and then see what that 14-year-old comes up with.
So, well, it was like
That's what this is.
It was that's fair because it was witty, but in the worst way you can imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let them hang out with the witty college student, and then take the 14-year-old's jokes. Don't take the college student's jokes. Take the 14-year-old.
It was cringy at best, and I still played it to death.
such a great game.
Okay, the best dialogue in any game ever. I'm gonna go throw this out there. Like, and this game was story driven, but the story wasn't dialogue based at all. Mm-hmm. But the dialogue had only enough to do with the story that character interactions and stuff. But this game had the best dialogue ever was from this game, and that is in Uncharted 1. Nolan North's ad-libbing.
So, it's fantastic. So, I am a massive Uncharted fan. Mm-hmm. I've played all 4 of them through, I don't know how many times. I refuse to play the offshoot out of sheer, douchiness, I guess.
Well, just because we hate those characters.
It's true.
They're designed to be hated, and then they say, hey, play as these people that we want you to hate.
Remember earlier when we didn't want you to like these people? They're you now. Mm-hmm. But the soundtracks for those games are flawless. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we should talk about them during the Legacy thing, because technically all 4 of their games occurred all in the modern era. Because Uncharted was a PS4 release game. Mm-hmm. So it came out in 2006.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't it wasn't. And most of the time, it wasn't the release game because most of the first off PS4 games were shipped with Little Big Planet 2, because Little Big Planet was PS3.
That's true.
Well, Uncharted 1 was PS3 too.
That's why I said 2006. Did I say PS4?
Yeah, you said PS4.
I meant PS3.
Now I was thinking, because I was thinking the age, and it is PS3.
I meant
PS3. Little Big Planet 1 was what the PS3 shipped with.
I even got the year right, but I said the wrong system.
Yeah, 2006.
PS3, that was... So, if you're wondering how much of nerds we are, so we both graduated the same year because we have similar IQs. And
yeah, that's how this works.
And we got... None of us, we don't come from wealthy families, so everyone gave us, they give you some graduation money. And we had enough money to buy a PlayStation 3 and 4 or 5 games, and that's exactly what we did. I think we had enough money left over to buy some candy to eat while we were playing the system.
Speak for yourself, I bought Summer Sausage.
And I didn't go to college for another 4 months, and Sean didn't go to college that year. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we did nothing but play video games for at least 4 months, because I did not work that summer. And you did not work that summer, and we just played video games that entire summer.
Now let's put this out here. We did not. We kind of snuck a game. It was a World War II game. It wasn't good, but we loved it so much because that game came with our PlayStation.
It did.
And we had to hide the fact that you killed people in the game.
At the age of 17 and 15.
16. I was 16 when I...
No, you weren't.
I turned 16 in March, and then I bought the stuff in May.
No.
It was in 2008. I was born in 92.
No. That's 16.
Yes.
I just said 16.
You said 15.
I did not.
Yes, you did. We have this one recording. We can go back.
At any rate... At those ages, we were not allowed to play games that had death in them. So, of course
the
we
killing
didn't.
of people.
The killing of people.
We also had the resistance, and since those people were no longer people, they were obviously aliens.
Obviously. So we were allowed to play that game, but we had to hide this game, which was not a problem since it took 25 minutes to beat.
Yeah.
Thanks, Discovery Channel.
And then, because see,
History Network, actually. I correct myself.
our mom she said, you can't play this game because it has killing in it. Okay. Well, he had a car.
That's true.
So we drove to GameStop.
We did that.
And we bought Uncharted, where you killed people.
That's true.
And then we took the game into our bedroom,
Yes, we did.
where we had our PlayStation and our TV,
Yes.
and we played it.
A lot.
The game that we were not allowed to play because it killed people. And until the point that we were allowed to play games that killed people, we still played this game because it was not known that we even owned this game.
Yes. So, I'm going to go ahead and tell it. We're getting way off tangent now, and I do not care. Uncharted. Fun story about Uncharted.
That's how you know we go off topic a lot. At this point, we're off tangent.
So, when we first got the PlayStation 3, the trophy system was not yet a thing.
Oh, yeah. I knew you were going to mention
there were
this.
accomplishments in games, not very many of them. Uncharted was really one of the first ones, not the first, but one of the first ones, to have a menu where you would look through your accomplishments of these weird things you had to do, whether it was punch a person this many times, kill a person with after you punch them twice, then shoot them, find all the artifacts. We went on all these websites to find where all the artifacts are, everything. We did every single thing in this game, completed 100% of the achievements. Less than, a handful of weeks later, PlayStation comes out with the trophy system. And Uncharted was its flagship thing for the trophy system because it was in-depth, it was an adventure game, you had lots of stuff to find. It would not transfer over because we already had the completions. It would not get it. So we had a platinum trophy for Uncharted 1.
Without a platinum trophy.
Before they invented platinum trophies. And it would not let us redo it. We were like, we refuse to do this again. Now, how many times have I beaten the game since that? Many, many, many. But
Enough to have gotten that platinum trophy if you haven't.
Which actually, I think I have it for Uncharted 2 now. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But, anecdotes. Okay, let's go back away from that to these other things that we're away from.
Okay, well, that's the list that I have.
So that's Army of Two. Well, we're not far from our hour point.
Which we usually go for an hour and a half, but hey, this is going to be a
That's
short
true.
one by far.
This one's going to be a short one. What's another one that we need to do from this era?
I've dripped water on my nice little pants.
They're not nice. Yeah,
They're
fish
little.
on them.
No, they're big. I'm a fat guy.
Okay, let's see. Games from the 2000s. What is a great game from that era?
Sonic Adventure.
Oh yeah, pull that crap up. I don't even remember what the soundtrack sounds like. I couldn't tell you what it sounds like.
Me neither.
Oh, that's great. But yet I remember all of it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I like it. Remember playing as this guy? Yeah.
Oh man,
Choose your buddy, slap-based version.
what?
Choose your buddy, slap-based version.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
This has nothing but dislikes. This one here does. What? Play it?
Yeah.
No, nothing but likes. Why up here it says nothing but dislikes, but here it says nothing but likes. My dislike over the thumbnail is broken. Huh. I was trying to find. I was trying to find a. This is probably one. One for Gamma. Sadness is probably the end of Gamma. It is probably the end of Gamma's. Yeah. This is the end of Gamma.
It was sad. I don't specifically remember if I cried when Gamma died, but I was close if I didn't.
Yeah.
By the way, spoiler alert.
Gamma dies at the end of Gamma's thing.
Gamma dies at the end of Gamma's Sonic Adventure.
If you haven't played this game yet,
Okay. This is in 2001, so
yeah,
whatever.
something like that was enough time.
2001.
I'm going to play a soundtrack from one of our favorite PS2 games. We never played it for PS2. We did play this one for PS2.
I'm not gonna look. While Sean's doing that, an update on this drink. When it gets watery from the ice melting, which I took too long to drink it, it's not good.
You have to don't look, and you have to guess what game this is.
I'll put my headphones on. Is this part of it from like the sound from like the menu or from the actual game?
It just says track 1. I don't know. I'll go to track 2 because that definitely won't be the menu.
So this is straight up stylized action style music. This one's not the first one was. Why are the tracks so different?
No, don't looking because I'm going to look up exactly when this game was released.
Okay. The first track sounded more familiar than the second.
The game was released March 31st, 2000.
Okay. So the reason why you're struggling saying it was on PS2 is because it was on Dreamcast then?
Yes, we had it. Okay, so we wound up playing PS2, but the first ever time playing it was on Dreamcast.
Play a different one. I'm not getting it. The first one sounded familiar, but I couldn't pinpoint why.
This is track 3.
Oh, so you're walking around. You're walking around the laboratory. And you're shooting things because you have 4 arms in your body.
Yep, that's it.
Is it me too?
I was gonna say 2 words to give it away if you didn't get it.
Good gravy!
Good gravy. That's Edmonton.
As Max says, Earth? Spot on. Throwback.
But that was just me typing in something else when I said PS2 and Dreamcast. This is what I was going to type in when I said PS2 and Dreamcast. Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Game soundtrack. Action game. Buzz Lightyear Star Command action
So
game.
this game... Oh, man. This is the first game that we paid way too much money for.
Yeah. Okay, so this game, it was the same thing every time. You were in a level, and it was a long linear level, and then there was the boss to that level. And you would run, and the boss would also be running, and you would have to chase the boss to the boss room. There were enemies on the way that would slow you down. There were things you could pick up that would help you, extra lives, different weapons, things like that, shortcuts, boosts to make you go faster, all that. It wasn't technically a race. It was because it was this close to being a boss rush. Okay. But there were enemies to fight and fun to be had in the game. I mean, like, the game, really the best way to enjoy the game was to play through the level very slowly, figure out everything, then make it to the boss room, and then restart the level and from the beginning and go back. Like, it was the best way to play the game. But this game was, so how it worked was you would chase the boss, and if you made it to the boss room before him, there was somebody there who would zap him and take away half of his shields. And you would have to destroy a shield and then kill him. And the shields were of different colors. And Actually, you may have just had to destroy the shields, and then he lost when you destroyed the shield. But they usually had different shields of different colors, and your weapons were of different colors, so you'd pick up different weapons along them. You'd have to remember which weapons to pick up on the map to make you deal the most damage to your shields, because if you had a green weapon and shot at a green shield, you did the most damage to it, and you did piddly damage if you shot a green shield with a red weapon. And actually there was one boss that, if you didn't pick up, his first shield was white, and if you didn't pick up a white weapon, or didn't get the thing that took if you didn't beat him there to knock his shields down, then he was impossible, because if you didn't have the weapon to damage his shield, both that and didn't do that, it was the space vampires who it was. If you didn't do both of those things, or no, if both of those things didn't happen, you could do one or the other, and it was better if you did both. But if neither of those things happened, then you could not damage his first shield. It could not happen.
This is the interesting anecdote for this game. For me, is that this is the first thing we ever bought off of eBay. And we bought it off. This is part of my connections getting poor. What's happening? We got a short somewhere. It's fine now. It was there. Anyways, we bought this off of eBay for like $32. And my dad was very annoyed that we spent that much money on a game. Because up until this point, we'd been buying...
we would get used Sega Genesis games
from
Kmart, and the used ones were $5 a piece. No, the used ones were $3 a piece. The new ones were $5.
Which is amazing.
Because this was like in the early days of the PS2 era, and so Sega Genesis games were being 100% phased out, so they were so cheap.
Yeah, they weren't. Nothing was retro yet. None of that kind of like SNES or Sega or any of those type of things were considered retro. They were just like cheap, and people had 1,000 copies of every game. And we managed to hold on to like 3 that were really expensive ones.
Even though relative to inflation, the Sega Genesis was significantly more expensive than the PS4.
Relative to inflation. Well, yeah, the Sega Genesis, like, I mean, Sonic 1 was $55 when it came out. Like, how? Good lord, it's $54.95. And the reason why this was hilarious is because the Sega cost $149.
Okay, so when it was first released, like the Sega Genesis was like $250 or $300, which is a couple, relative to inflation, a couple $100 more than the PS4 at release.
Well, I mean, the technology for video games has always been progressively cheaper.
But you'd think though that if the equivalent of $100 today should have got so if $100 today and for exactly mid-tier should have got today's equivalent. You should have paid today's equivalent of $100 for mid-tier at that point. The mid-tier, you'd think mid-tier or top tier or whatever would stay the same price, but it's just so much better. Is how you would expect it to work. It doesn't, but it's how you'd expect it to work.
But as it turns out. Well,
Economy.
Economy! Congratulations, you have a degree in economics. Well,
We'll bill you later.
Trust me, we will bill you.
That's how economics work.
That's when you really get the lesson. Well, we've exhausted the soundtracks we want to talk about. We've hit an hour, and there's really not much more, so we probably just call it early. Let's see.
We haven't hit an hour, 58 minutes.
Oh! Well, it's 59 minutes, and also we still have to do a track.
Oh, yeah, 50.
So let's see. I've picked every time so far.
I got a track for you.
Perfect.
Jack T. Chick. Now let's see what we have here. Here's a track for you.
A tract.
You were wrong. You didn't accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior.
Look at the You were wrong. You didn't. But he did.
You didn't do this. Also, I love the exact emphasis. You were wrong. You didn't accept Lord Jesus Christ as your personal savior.
You could have saved $500 by switching to Geico.
Also, why is he 100% wearing an Oni mask, Satan, and an Oni mask and a suit? Like, hold on, I gotta bring this over here. Satan is wearing an Oni mask and a suit, like 100%. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
Thanks, Satan.
That's great.
One out for a track that ends with K and not T.
Okay, so you got to be more specific with me.
You're right. So I've picked every week so far.
No, I picked a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah, Dragon
You
Force.
picked
I
Dragon
picked.
Force.
Yeah.
Did I pick last week though?
Yeah, you picked Periphery. Did we add Periphery to that thing?
We did. Go to the not the Shamans and Streaming playlist.
Oh yeah.
Click on the playlist button, you plebe.
Okay, so I mean, I didn't add anything to it, so I will add something to it. But I'm gonna get. We're gonna listen because you don't know this band very well, and I do, and I love it.
I love this band.
I know this band so much better than you do, and I like it.
Sean's better at bands.
Let me go to the. I'll get from the newest album, 2019, Metallum Nostrum.
That's actually really great album art in comparison to their other normal album art.
Also, have you ever seen the? See, do I know? I don't know any. I haven't listened to any of these songs. This is gonna be new to me too. Let's say.
Well, hold on. If power metal is anything to go with, you need to do the first or the third track.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Do you want Do you want the really quick introduction, or do you want the?
I'm going back to the
edgy-driven
Sacrament
song?
of Sin because I want to see the. Okay, so Sacrament of Sin. Okay, so the best songs, the best tracks on this one. This is the last track is good, and then besides that, the best tracks on this one are 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So it doesn't matter.
This is okay. We're not listening to the newest album. We're listening to last year's album. This song is so good.
Okay, click it.
Like this song is so good that it's banned in the United States half the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's how you know it's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Obama.
India. Like it's so good. It's not even power metal. It's so good. Like this is a funeral song, and I want to play it at my funeral.
We fought the daylight, any battle, any war. The call for blood worth dying for. We prayed for twilight, side by side we stood as pack. But still tonight you won't come back. The night is over, but in the morning don't lie dead. Remember all the blood we had, and we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. Oh, we'll bleed.
I love this song. Like the best song ever.
So go ahead and add that to our playlist because that's what
Yeah.
we talked about. But go back to the new album. So I'm going to set up the whole thing for you. Ready?
Okay.
I've never heard this.
All right, me neither.
I
And
don't. It's not that I love.
I didn't know
Powerwolf.
they had an album that
But
came
I
out this
don't-
year. I
I've not heard
love
it.
it
So,
so much.
Here's
I
how
love this
breakdown
band.
this goes for you.
I
Beef.
just want to expand it. There we go.
Okay. So here's how this works. You're going to click on the first track, and as the first track plays, this is going to start out usually a little bit slow. It could start hard, but it'll get hard in a hurry. Usually starts off a little bit slow. It has to build a little bit. Get the soundtrack. So we have the right BPM going, right? The full
It no longer sounds like the thing it should not be.
And then some really soaring kind of vocals is kind of a big deal. I don't know. Not starting off like power metal.
Yeah, this does not sound like they normally do. This song, unlike their other songs, has a touch of
Mesmerized
And there's our vocals. Over still
I can't believe
stuff happening.
my eye. Ecstasy control.
Now go to the next track. This is going to be a continuation. We'll speed it up a little bit, but it'll still be
You
metal.
give yourselves me right.
You see, let's get the next track.
Yep.
You know, we didn't play any of the actual soundtracks from the 2000s games that we played, did we?
What do you mean?
You didn't play any Seether or Saliva or 3 Days Grace.
You got me there. Skip ahead a little bit to where it gets faster. Because it works. This is the second track. Now goes the third one. This is going to be the epic ballad soaring kind of thing. Ready? Now ready? Get ready for big instruments. They can introduce your theme as much as they want. It's their business. Thank you. Big soaring epic stuff.
You degrees.
but now you have to go back again for the next track.
Back to
like the kind of power metal fast line.
you're just going. Obviously, this is gonna be a power metal, so it has power in the name.
It's track 4. Let's hear how power metal is different.
The singer for this band is Satan's Beard.
Okay, we're going to tone it down for the next track, ready?
Okay, so track 5 on the last album was really wild. So
Yeah, it's going to be the same type of thing. It's to be kind of toned back and like
I feel like the wildebeest are
emotional.
coming.
They are. Mufasa's going to die.
Now I'm riding one of the wildebeests. Die, Mufasa! Oh, by the way, I said this guy has a Satanist beard. I don't know, like it looks like a normal beard until you look long and hard at it. Like that man's beard is a Satanist. Like the beard is a Satanist.
That man's beard.
Look at this.
Sean Moberly, that man's beard is a Satanist.
So we're gonna go to Powerwolf and we're gonna look at images of the band. Like the dude, he has a Satanist beard.
Okay.
If it'll show up the pic, come on.
I think I heard it say, oh.
Ah, crap! Come on.
Your internet's bad at this. You don't know who has a real Satanist beard. Go back up there and look for a different band.
No, yeah, he has the same beard. It's just a little longer and white. You're thinking of the guitar player.
No,
Oh,
I'm
really?
not.
Oh, really? Okay, I want to see your Satanist beard because he has the same beard as the guitar player.
Flesh God Apocalypse.
Flesh God Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's the name of this band.
Okay.
Just go
Flesh
down there.
God Apocalypse. So let's look at this band here. So who's the Satanist?
If you were to assume,
I would assume that he is. He doesn't have a beard. Now this guy.
he's the one with the Satanist beard.
Okay, I like this guy's face.
It's like, I'm confused.
Do you know who he? Hold on, I'm gonna pull this over here because you know who the guy with the goatee. Let me bring this over here. The guy with the goatee. This fellow right here. You know who he looks like to me?
No.
Stuart Townsend as Dorian Gray.
So you're right, and I'm about that. I'm not confused. I'm not convinced that isn't Seamus McDormand, who's the lead singer for Black Crown Initiate. Looks just like him.
I'll tell you who this guy also looks like. The guy with the crazy eyes. Okay, so most of these guys look like somebody else. This guy looks like Orion Akaba.
I mean, okay.
And this guy looks like Wade Barnes.
I don't know who that is. He does look like Wade Barnes. Wade!
Shut up, Wade!
Well, we've even done more than what we should have done.
We've done everything.
We should have stopped before we talked about all of that. We've just plagiarized ourselves.
Okay.
How do you plagiarize yourself?
It takes talent, and we have that in spades. Plagiarizing talent. We got it. Okay, bye.